Did you know that there are hidden influences on your career? Yes, it is true. There are things that impact your career choices, your career goals, and your career desires that you may not even be aware of. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to uncover some of these hidden influences because they can be kind of tricky, so that you can make sure that you are pursuing a career that is authentic to who you are and what you want. I'm going to use the iceberg analogy, which you're probably familiar with, but the whole idea with the iceberg analogy is that there are some things above the surface of the water or the tip of the iceberg that you can see, might be simple observations. It's easy. You notice it, no big deal. But then under the water, there's a whole lot more going on that you're not even aware of. And unless you pay close attention, you won't ever see it or notice it. So as related to career, the tip of the iceberg here is your career decisions, your career goals, and your career desires. And this is kind of what you're familiar with. There's simple observations you can make about your own career. And then down below is is what's hidden. So this can be your values, your beliefs, and messages you've received about your career. And all of this has a huge impact on what's going on up here in the tip. It has a huge impact on your decisions, your goals, and your desires. This down here is something that you inherit. It's something that you have with you from the moment you're born. It's passed on to you from your family, from communities that you belong to or you identify with, and from your cultural upbringing. So it's not something that you necessarily notice because it feels so core to who you are. Okay, so this can also be seen as a way to dig deeper into the why of what you do up here. So for example, I pursued a career in education when I first left college. Why? Laura, why did you pursue a career in education? Well, both my parents were educators. My mom was a second grade teacher and my dad was a higher ed administrator and career advisor. And no influence there, right? So the message that I was receiving is education is a worthwhile career. Okay, so I've always had a desire to have a career that feels fulfilling, gives me a sense of purpose, very much a vocation. Well, why? Well, the community that I grew up in, or I guess I would say my extended family in particular, they were nurses, a lot of nurses, teachers, social workers, farmers, okay? And so I saw that they lived out their values through their work, and their work gave them a lot of a huge sense of purpose. And so I inherited that. That was passed on to me. And so I have always assumed that good work equals work that gives you a sense of purpose, but not everyone feels that way. Not everyone was raised with that belief. Another, a goal I have not had throughout my career is to make a lot of money. It just was never a priority for me. Well, why? Well, I went to a college where the focus was very much on preparing people for careers to help other people in the name of service. So that was sort of the mission of my college. So the beliefs there were good work is work that serves other people, which is often not paid well, so that money is not a priority. You can kind of start to get a sense of how this down here really impacts what's up here. I want to make really clear that I don't think that there are necessarily positive or negative influences. They're just there. And it's important to be aware of them. And because if you're aware of them, you can see how they're impacting your career. And if you can see how they're impacting your career, you can start to make choices about whether you want to allow those influences to continue to impact your decisions and goals and desires, or whether you want to push back a little bit and say, you know what, that does not align with what I've discovered I want for my life. The incongruence of a certain value here and a certain decision here. So let's say, for example, that I chose to make a lot of money in my career and that was my primary focus. That incongruence with my desires and my choices and the messages I received growing up could have caused me a lot of stress. And that misalignment could have really made it hard for me to make career decisions. But knowing and recognizing that it was coming from the values and the messages I received, and deciding, okay, you know what, I'm going to push back against that because it is important to me to make money, and that's okay. So, what are you learning unconsciously from your inheritance or your upbringing and your family and your culture? What are you learning unconsciously? Or consciously, but today we're talking mostly about the unconscious. What are you learning that is impacting your choices in your career? And is that okay? How much have these influences from people or cultures controlled your decisions in the past? And how much do you want them to control your decisions moving forward? And then, you can start asking yourself, why? Well, my goal is to have this type of job. I want to be a doctor. Well, why? What kind of values, beliefs, and messages are behind that? This is important. It's really important to know what these influences are. Because, like I said, it gives you choice. And my goal for you is to make sure that you are pursuing a career that feels authentic to who you are and what you want, and not to authentic to who other people are and what other people want for you, or to feel stuck in between what you want and what other people want. So take some time to think through this, and I hope that this beautiful iceberg that I've created will help you do that. If you have some comments about how this is going for you, please put it in the comments below. And if you want to make sure that you're one of the first ones to get any future videos, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel.